I think that's it. I think I'm done with it. So they've got armies up here in New York. So sadly, the campaign seems broken and I've had to end it early. I've still uploaded this video, so if you want to watch it, you can. You can see how it unfolds and what makes me finally decide to throw in the towel with this campaign. Unfortunately, I don't think it's working properly with the new patch coming out, the 1.06 beta patch. It just seems to have broken the save game. The AI behavior is crazy and it's just not fun to play. The armies are teleporting all over the place, and as you'll see, this is what happens in the end. I mean, so just watch the video if you want to watch it and see how it's broken. If you don't want to watch it, then that's fair enough, of course. Thanks for stopping by anyway, and I do hope you subscribe and join me for other content. I will be doing a new Union campaign starting from the beginning. It's a bit of a shame that I had to waste our time with this campaign so far, but you've got to give the developers credit still for giving out new patches and things when the game is on full release. I think it's on full release anyway, but yeah. So this is a broken game basically. This is like this save game is broken, not the game itself. This save game is broken. It's not working right, and I've put the video up anyway. So if you want to watch it, watch what happens. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome back to Grand Tactician, the Civil War, the Union campaign. This is episode 7. If you missed the previous episodes, then you can go back and watch them via the link I'll put in a pinned comment. I'll put it in the description. There'll also be a link on the screen to take you back to the playlist, and you can select whichever episode you were up to. Just a quick word that I will chapter this video, so if you watched the previous episodes and don't need this quick overview, which I'll give now, you can just skip past that. So in the previous episode, we seen Major General Polk march his force from Nashville through Kentucky, through Ohio, and into Western Virginia here and fight a battle, two battles in fact, and beat us in both of them. So he completed this journey in about 4 or 5 days, I think. It wasn't long anyway, and he sort of teleported his way through, and it felt like a glitch to me. I wonder if it's something to do with the new patch 1.06, which I'm playing on, and this campaign was started in 1.05. It might not be. It might just be one of them things. But either way, Polk marched his way through Kentucky, through Ohio, bypassed our army of the Ohio, popped up in a few different places, and ended up here, defeated our West Virginia department, and then defeated McClellan and Patterson in another battle. This was obviously a bit of a problem, and because of that, I have done some reorganizing. So that's where the previous episode kind of left off, and I've done the reorganizing off camera. So I'll just quickly go through that. If you're not interested in this, then again, you can just skip this part and you can skip straight to the beginning of the video. So I've reinforced all 3 of these forces, armies here. Difficult to call them armies because they're just corps size units really. But we're going to quickly go through what I've done. So McDowell's force looks like this now. I've done a slight bit of rearranging, replaced a few commanders. I think the division commanders are all the same except for one. I've replaced Dix with Dodge. Grenville M. Dodge, he's come in here. McDowell's still in charge, obviously, of the Army of Northeastern Virginia, and pretty much most of it's the same. I've replaced Sherman, and I've given him a division command elsewhere. We'll get to him in a moment. I've put Kearney in here as well, or Kearney, I'm not sure how you say that. Kearney? I'm really not sure. But anyway, we've moved him in here in charge of this force. Patterson remains in command simply because I don't have anybody to put in there really to replace him with, and actually his stats are okay, and I don't think the previous battle was his fault exactly. It was bad decision making from my end. So like I say, if you did miss that, then go back and watch it and just watch me blunder through it. So Stone, all these guys remain in command. We are really short on weapons. We really haven't got much to offer in the way of upgrades. Springfield muskets is kind of the best we can do. So the majority of this army force here is still with mixed muskets, so that's something we've got to work on. We've got to get some equipment to these troops, and obviously the 6-pounder guns, which are like pretty ineffective pop guns really. But let's give out some parrots, and we've got 200 not available. So that's the Valley Department. Next, Army of the West under Lyon. These guys are now pushing into Arkansas, so we'll see how that goes. There's about 15,500 of them with 400 disabled. It's still, like, it's October, so it's the very end of the campaigning season. I want to make one little push to see if we can get this national morale bump back up, because our latest defeats have really meant we've suffered in that. This is where Miles, not Dix. I keep calling him Dix. I don't know why. It's Dix and Miles. I've moved him over into this place, into the Army of the West. Army of Occupation stays pretty much the same. I don't think anything's changed here at all. Did Steedman become defamed? He didn't. So yeah, we've got McClellan in charge still. He's going to have about 11,500 men. I've moved a brigade across from the Reserve Corps under Harney. Obviously, these are all going to take a little while to get there. Kelly in charge here. Again, I don't really have anybody to replace him with. I've got Banks, and that's about it. And then a bunch of colonels. Now, I'm kind of wary about over-promoting people too quickly. So then, Army of the Mississippi. Okay, so we've got Grant in charge. He's got 23,500 men. Fremont has a division. Sherman has a division. And George Thomas has a division. Other than that, it's largely the same. We've upgraded these guys' guns, so there's some 20-pounder Parrott, some 10-pound rifle Parrotts as well. Curtis, can we give him some better weapons? Maybe let's go with the Burnside carbine, mixed muskets. I mean, most of these guys mixed muskets again all around pretty much. I've given Hooker a command, and I've given them Hall rifles actually. Hooker was down here as a captain still, so he's come up to colonel. I'll see how he does in a battle or two, and then maybe we'll bump him up to division and then corps command eventually. But yeah, so we're rocking with mixed muskets on most of these guys still. There's not really anything available, like I'm saying. Hall rifles is kind of the best we can do, and I'm not a big fan of the Hall rifle. Like 8 rounds a minute sounds awesome on paper, but like I said this in the previous episode, and it's the fact that they expend the ammunition so quickly. But maybe we will upgrade them, because a lot of these guys are probably going to be facing combat pretty soon, and they nearly all got mixed muskets apart from Hooker and Campbell. BD, let's upgrade these guys to Springfields. We're actually starting to run low on Springfield muskets as well. We're only down to 30,000 of those left. I mean, which sounds a lot, but it's not really. 28,000 there. Looks after we give them out. Lou Wallace. So 25,000. So we'll give one more out, and then yeah. So at least Thomas's brigade is armed okay. They also have the 20-pounder Parrotts. Reserve Corps. Now I've reformed this one slightly. I've taken Banks out of here and put Winfield Scott in charge. Simply because his stats are a bit better and his administration score is better than Banks. And Banks is a pretty poor commander, really. Administration is decent for these. Leadership's okay. Buell, his administration is good. And he's alright. I mean, these are just holding units, really. So we've only got one brigade left here at Washington, but we're recruiting more. Then we have the Army of the Ohio under Wool. I've given Hancock, Winfield Scott Hancock, a division. So we'll see how that goes, because I bumped him up from captain as well, right, to Major General. But I mean, he is a West Point graduate, so it could be okay. We'll see. I mean, it could be a mistake. I've made lots of mistakes in this. So here we have Sumner's division, Hancock's division, John G. Barnard's division. He's not looking amazing, but you know, let's see how that goes. And Canby has a division. So Wool's Army of the Ohio is the one that Polk's army just kind of skipped past and just ignored. So really, this is the army that should have fought against Polk, but it didn't happen. And it's just the way it is. So the Army of the Ohio is still in Ohio. We're going to shift them back down onto the kind of Western Virginia border. The Army of Missouri is now under Halleck, with Pope taking the division. He had been in charge of that force. But Halleck, again, has decent administration score and higher fame. Pope is kind of neither here nor there, really. So this army is at St. Louis, and they're like a holding unit, really, for getting recruits into the Army of Missouri under Lyon and to guard St. Louis. This is the Mississippi Reserve Force under William F. Barry, not looking amazing either, with Quinby in charge of a division, and we're kind of just building these dudes up. And these guys are a newly formed unit, and they are moving down towards Cairo. And that's it. Fleets. I have renamed them because it was just difficult to keep on top of where everybody was. So we've got the Virginia blockade here. The Potomac flotilla is just the same. It's that kind of steamer fleet that's sitting in the Potomac River. Blockading Squadron 3. Did I not rename these guys? I thought I had. Mississippi River Squadron still kind of forming up. The Wilmington blockade. So there's those guys. Still rocking with a couple of steamers, so we'll change them out once we get some more ships built. We have captured a cotton-clad ram here and another steamer. So once they're up to 100%, we'll move them out. We've got a couple of steam sloops now ready, so they'll probably replace these two steamers. Then we have the South Carolina and Georgia blockade. Again, a few steamers in here, but frigates, sloops, and the like as well. We'll bump them up. A few monitors are almost ready, a few gunboats. So we'll work on the fleets. The Louisiana blockade here. Looking pretty decent. Bark, brig, you know. Texas blockade. I added a couple of brigs to this blockade because it was quite a small force, so this should hopefully be more effective now at blockading those Texas ports. Blockading Squadron 8 is still forming. That's why I haven't given it a name. Mississippi Scouting Squadron 1, again, forming up. Virginia Scouting Squadron 1 is just kind of sitting around near Richmond. Scouting Squadron 1, they're not deployed either. Scouting Squadron 2 also still kind of forming. I've just made them at somewhere. Anyway, so that's it. That's the fleet's kind of gone over. And then we'll bump them up with these gunboats. And in fact, I'm going to make a new fleet with the ironclads and the gunboats, and they're going to help to try and take these forts down here. So I think that's enough talking now. So we're going to get started. This has gone on quite long enough. So right now, we're hoping just to kind of pull away from Polk here. I'm assuming he's going to probably pursue either the Valley Department or the Army of Occupation, and we'll keep retreating until we're away from him. The Army of Northeastern Virginia under McDowell is still just hanging out here, just sitting here. We're facing Army of the Potomac over the river, the Confederate Army of the Potomac, with about 23,000 men. We fought them a few times, but we're going to keep them there. The Army of the Ohio is going to move down, so let's see what happens. We're going to press play here. I suspect the next combat will maybe be here, but we will try and pull out of that if possible. It's worth bearing in mind we're waiting for new troops to come in here, so that's going to take the West Virginia Department to 11,500 men. Patterson's force is going to be up to 11,500 also. Oh, and actually, Patterson is now elite, so we can pick a flag for his unit. His commander. That's pretty cool. Let's go with that one. So this is an elite unit now because they've fought that much, I guess. The West Virginia Department, they're just sitting here. So I'm not sure what to do with these. They are low on ammunition. We haven't really got much going on. Let's wait for Wool to pull down here and then see where we're at. It may be that the Army of Occupation needs to pull back and then up the valley towards Winchester. Or is that down the valley if you're going up? I'm not sure. It's one of those funny things. So let's have a look here. Grant is moving down into this area. Into the kind of northwestern Tennessee. And we might even see if we can push down into Corinth, Mississippi, or onto Memphis. But let's see how this goes. Let's see what the computer does. See what the AI has got to say for himself. He's got to react to this, I would think. But we are very much open here into the centre. But Wool is going to be at Marietta, which means we're going to be able to shift him pretty quickly via rail to wherever he's needed. Possibly we'll face combat with Lyon's army. That's certainly a possibility. Again, a very poorly armed force on the whole here. Oof, all 6-pound guns. Let's give them some parrots, maybe. But like I say, we really don't have that much available. We can't even give them wall rifles, so Springfield muskets is the best we can do here. I have bumped up the military budget as well, and industry we're going to bump up a little more. And we're working on industry too, so hopefully that's going to improve things on that front, on the weapons front. So these guys are blockading Squadron 3. Maybe we'll call them the Florida blockade or something like that. Oh, blockage? Blockade. Then we'll know, then I'll know who they are. Yeah, so they're still kind of showing us in combat because we're retreating still. I can't control them, obviously. So Patterson's force at the moment's got 2,700 men in it. If you remember, they were absolutely annihilated in near Winchester a few episodes ago. Wynkoop, who was defamed, is no longer defamed. I noticed that on his write-up. Let's have a little look here. Rehabilitated in the eyes of the public, so he's fine for a command again. We're still kind of, like, McClellan's still pulling up this way. I'm not sure why exactly. Not sure what Polk's going to do either. Polk is going to push up on Grafton by the look of things. I'm not sure whether to move the army to Ohio in there. Maybe we need to push up here. No. I think we'll maybe let him take Grafton if needs be, and then we'll push in with our troops once we have the reserves. Once we have the guys from the reserve corps join them. Yeah, so Wool, I'm not going to leave him here actually, but we're going to put Wool into Covington, Kentucky. Changed my mind on that. These three forces here, the Army of Occupation, the Valley Department, and the West Virginia Department, should be able to deal with Polk. I'm gonna give McClellan different orders. I know I'm messing him around a little here, but we're gonna keep him here. Patterson, he's gonna have to pull back really, because he's just not got any readiness. His men are absolutely done. How long are his men going to take to get in here? 3 days, so chances are we'll be fighting before that, I would think. So we will end up having to pull him out. What about Kelly's reinforcements? 4 days for them. And 3 days for that brigade to reach McClellan's army. Confederates are building a hospital here. So I'm keeping things relatively slow. There's a lot going on here. That's Grant pushing south. We're going to have to... We'll probably... I think is this Jackson around here? I think maybe that's Jackson. Yeah, that's Jackson. So if we push on towards Jackson, and we'll make that like kind of a base of operations maybe. Or we could maybe stay at this rail hub and build up from there. Supply lines are going to be a problem. They're going to stretch all the way from Cairo. His army of Florida has now been spotted as well, so they are kind of here. I think... Is that where they were before? I'm really not sure. And we've got the problem of the forts here. Fort Donaldson, Fort Henry, and... Is it Fort Hyman or something? Fort Hyman, yeah. So that's all a problem. They're all issues that we need to deal with. Where's Wool? So Wool's on the move here. And in fact, instead of putting him in Covington, we're going to pop him into Louisville, Kentucky. So he's pushing up. He's pushing up with his army of Florida, 7,000 men. It seems the AI doesn't need to worry about supplies. At least not in the same way as we do. Alright, so at least we're here. We're in supply. Polk's men are suffering attrition. I'm not sure what to do with the West Virginia Department. I could try and take Polk on again, but I'm not sure. I'd prefer to wait for these recruits to get here, the reinforcements. 1 day on those guys, so that's definitely going to be a possibility then. Let's check the Army of the West's progress. Yeah, that's cool. We're almost... Oh, so the Missouri State Guard's kicking around down here. 5,500 men. We can definitely take those guys on. We're going to push on towards Carrollton, Arizona. Arkansas. So we've lost sight of that Army of Florida completely by the look of things. Let's move this river squadron up. Just to here, to see if we can get a look at them and see where they are. So the Mississippi Reserve Force is on the march. They should be taking rail. I'm not sure why they aren't. Or maybe they are. And I just missed it. But either way. So, yeah, Wool's still on the move here. So from Louisville, Kentucky, we're going to get more central, and we can threaten Nashville. Another army here, Army of Tennessee. So in terms of numbers, we actually really outnumber him quite a lot. He's only got 9,000 field. We've got almost 150,000 men. We don't have much available in terms of reserves, recruits, volunteers, whatever you want to call them. That's blockading Squadron 8, which is still forming. Almost ready to go. Hang on, so Polk's captured this supply depot. How is that? Right, anyway. Must be because we're pulling back, I guess. But it seems like... questionable. Right, let's have a look here. We've got nothing available to give them. Springfield muskets. £6 all around for these guys as well. Jeez. We really need some better weapons available. We've got 1,500 1817 rifles, but nobody to give them to. Ooh, 300 men? 400 men, right, so... I mustn't have changed those guys over. Or they've just been decimated by combat. But either way, we're going to combine them into one. Let's see who the better commander is. Porter or White. White, I would say. So let's move Porter's brigade into there. Craig can join Kime's division. And then we're kind of evened out. I like my divisions to have kind of 3 infantry and one battery of artillery. I know these have only got 2, but that's kind of the way I roll with it. Or sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 infantry brigades per division and then have a dedicated artillery division, but I prefer to have the artillery with the divisions. Generally. Not always. Sometimes I'll have them with the divisions and have an artillery division as well, but not at the moment because we are a bit low on resources, a little low on money, and we'll just roll with what we've got here. So actually we've got 11,500 men under Patterson here. We could absolutely take on Polk. And I think we will have to do that. So, how long for Kelly's men? 2 days still. Right. I suspect Polk's going to suffer... not Polk, Patterson's going to suffer from supply soon. But we're done retreating. Oh, not possible in hostile territory. Because of low readiness, okay. His readiness is creeping up. McClellan's at strength. His readiness is okay. However, I don't think... he might be just in reinforcement range. Let's be patient. We'll wait for Kelly's men if we can. Right, Army of Florida has teleported into Indiana. Honestly, I feel like maybe I need to restart this campaign because this is garbage. What are they living off? There's no supply going to these forces. They're in hostile territory and just going for a stroll. It's crazy. It feels to me like it's broken. The AI. Army of Tennessee just slipping up the river here. We've got nothing to oppose it. It feels broken. It really feels broken to me. It seems to me that the AI is just pushing all his men north, everywhere and anywhere. And that those guys can just push up into our territory and just kind of teleport their way through. It's just... I don't know, it's no fun. So we've taken Jackson, but... to what avail? I mean... So Army of Florida's here. Do we know that, or are they going to teleport up there? I really don't know. I genuinely don't know. It has the feel of being broken. I mean, I don't know if I'm exaggerating that at all, but it has that feel to it, I think. Any thoughts on it? If you do, pop them in the comments. So we are capturing Carrollton, Arkansas. I keep wanting to say Arizona. So he's slipped around and he's taken this place. Oh man, God's sake. Yeah. So how's he done that, right? So in the time it's taken us to march from there to here, we've only just arrived. He's managed to move his force over this way, like, I don't know, through woods and over a river and taken Springfield. No. Just no. So we've got government, we've got industry 2 now. I'm tempted to go for military 2. That's going to take 51 days. So I think we're actually going to go with diplomacy 1, which is going to get us access to some better weapons, I believe. It certainly does. Yeah, weapon import deal. So let's go with that. Once that's done, we're going to work on military 2 so we can form full armies. And possibly we'll go for military act 4 as well. Projects, we've got something available. Let's have a look. Hall's Carbines, appoint project. Let's do it. Right, so they've captured this. Even though Missouri State Guard is suspected here. Let's see. We're going to take Carrollton, Arkansas. With that comes this depot, which will be in our hands. And from there, let's see what we can do from there. So the Army of Tennessee is pushed up into Missouri again here, which again is frustrating. Now, the Mississippi Reserve Corps, obviously real low readiness. They're recruiting on their way towards Cairo. Hopefully they'll get there in time to maybe block these guys. We'll see. We've almost finished the fort at St. Louis, and once that is done, we will push this force into the Army of Tennessee, I guess. We'll see how that goes. Wool is still on the move. The men are now in the West Virginia department. So we're going to have 3 armies here. Let's move these guys in. I mean, they're still low on ammunition, which might give them a bit of a bump down. But, you know, we're going to have to... Whoa. Slow this down a bit. We've got to do something here. We need Polk out of here. We need Polk annihilated, really. Realistically, we should be able to take him on with just one of these forces, but I don't fancy it. Not after we got our butts handed to us. We could also push on Richmond. That would give him some real problems. Maybe we'll do that right now, actually. We'll see if we can beat the Army of the Potomac out of the way. We do have the numbers. We've got almost 38,000 men in McDowell's force here. And McDowell's force is one of the better armed forces we have available. Hall rifles, Springfield rifle, muskets. A few mixed muskets still. And we just simply haven't got the equipment to give out. Got some Springfield musketoons for the cavalry there. That's all right. Fairly poor weapons, but we've got parrots. We've got howitzers, 6-pounders, 6-pounders, and 12-pound howitzer. Have we got anything else to give out? We do still have some more parrots. And some more 12-pound field guns. Actually, we've got 20-pounder parrots, 200 of them. Let's give some of those out. And we'll give these guys a 12-pound field gun. That leaves just the 6-pounders in the cavalry, and that's fine. I'm happy with those. All right. So we've taken Arkansas here, Carrollton, Arkansas. That's a nice move. So, and with that comes the supply depot. And actually, this is back in our hands now somehow. I'm not sure what's happening here. So, in terms of supply, they are down to 45%. And it says they're not connected to any supply depot. Maybe that just needs to sort itself out. Let's see. So Kelly's force is marching in. Right, so they're getting a bit closer. I think we're all in reinforcement range here, so really we should all reinforce. There's now 12,000 men in McClellan's force. Let's move them up a little. Again, McClellan should be able to take him on by himself. Give out some Burnside carbines. And Mississippi rifles for those guys. That's good. Let's see if we can give out anything else. We haven't got anything in numbers, sadly. But they are armed slightly better now. Battle of Willets Point. Where's that? What? Right. I think that's it. I think I'm done with it. So they've got armies up here in New York. Right. So sadly, this is where this campaign is going to end, because I think this is glitched. You can't tell me that this is plausible or possible in any way. I'm going to call it. So I think this is the end of the series, and I'll start a new one with the Union.